What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Patrick and this is Valor Aquaponics. I have a little bit of energy this morning. I'm not sure why. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but it is 9:14 on Tuesday the 26th. So I believe I'm going to try to get this video out right after I'm done. So this will be a first in a long time where I make a video and I upload it immediately. So, congrats to that. Woohoo! Starting off the week great, at least my week. It's the start of my regular work week for my full-time job. But yeah, we've been doing some work here. Not as much progress. I mean, you're not going to see a whole lot of a ton of progress. It's because a lot of the things that we've been doing are very time consuming. So we're just going to kind of go over what's been done, what the next steps are, and how close we are. And I'm going to just show you an update on some of the vegetables that we're growing. So let's not waste any time. Let's cue the little break. Alright, so I'm going to actually just take you guys through here because it's actually been semi-clean. So here we're in the germination room. So the tanks are getting a little low water. It's mainly because the vegetables are drinking a lot. I still haven't created a new top for this. It's been kind of on the back burner. That will get done. But as you can see here, we've got a bunch of basil growing very well. This is actually jalapenos, just planted last week. It's just starting to sprout. Excuse me. Ooh, throat's dry. So I have a couple seeds that I see that are just starting to sprout. This is cilantro. It's been a nightmare to grow. This is arugula. And then up here we have more cilantro. This cilantro is actually doing a lot better than the other one. We're about 50% germination up here. At the bottom one, we're only at 20%. So here, this is Roma tomatoes. As you can see, doing very well. This is heirloom tomatoes. It's to fill out the other koi bed. And I'll show you guys that. And this is more basil. So we should be getting these out in a couple weeks. The lettuce, unfortunately, looks like weeds. It's mainly because our system is behind schedule. So unfortunately, we stopped really taking care of the lettuce. We're actually just kind of letting it grow out. I've actually been pulling from here and actually feeding the tilapia because they'll eat the lettuce. They love lettuce. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up keeping a bunch of it later on so that we can let it bolt so we can collect the seeds. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to use a lot of it maybe for self-consumption, for feeding our tilapia, and then for seeds. So none of this is going to be sold, so I know it looks like a mess, but it'll get better. So let me take you guys through. I'm going to come back through here, our new 4-month calendar that I just put up. So we're going to come back through here. Their aquarium, and then we're going to go into our warehouse here. So we'll come back, we'll finish off with the koi beds. But we'll start off over here. So, we did have this done last time. This lift was only here because I had to run some Ethernet cable. It's going to be for the underwater camera, which will be set up in our big pool over there. I'll discuss that in a minute. So we emptied out the 2 tanks that were here. So the trout beds or the trout tank is still there while we wait, but. You can see there's some air hoses here, and these are our Aquascape aeration discs that we have. So I love these discs actually. They're weighted, they do really well. So there's one every 3 feet. So we're almost done with it. I've basically ran most of the air hose. I still have to connect it to the big black hose over here. So we're going from 3/16, or we're going from 3/8 to 3/16, and we're breaking off from 2 branches to 4. However, the air pump is supposed to be able to support 16,000 gallons, and we're only talking about 4,000 gallons. So we're hoping that it'll work. Trout are still doing well. We did have an issue where this hose actually came out of the pool and empty the whole pool. And luckily there was just enough water, ½ inch of water, where 99% of the trout survived. So I just fed them. They are very active right now, so they are doing well. They are growing slowly but surely. Water temperature is currently 63 degrees thanks to our Eco Plus chiller. It does an amazing job. One thing I do recommend is, if you do plan on getting one of these in your house or your business, do not use flex tubing. Mainly because, first, you can see that it's subjected to the to UV light, which can cause basically like algae and stuff like that. But it kinks a lot. So as you can see right here, there's a kink in here. So it still gets flow, but not as much. So what we do plan on doing is, when we move this, we're going to hard pipe it in, and that's what you should do. It'll run better, unless you can get kink-free tubing. But I know kink-free tubing is very expensive for this. I believe this is 1 inch. So so yeah, I mean, you know, thanks to our chiller, it's doing great. Our trout seem to love swimming against the current. I think we have 1 dead trout, or there's 2 dead trout in here. I picked 2 out yesterday, but for the most part, they're doing very well. So, you know, thank goodness for that. So, so you remember in the last video, one of those tanks actually was full of water. We actually took all that kind of nasty-ish water, and we actually put it into here, and that's because we're actually cycling it. We wanted to get all that ammonia-rich water in here so that we can basically culture up this is the mineralization tank. And what for those that are watching these videos and have no idea what a mineralization tank is, it's basically here, you know, the pipe here comes up, you're not going to be able to see it, so it comes up over here, comes back around, comes back down. So this is water from the pool, and what this is going to do is it's going to collect all the poop and the pee, and it's basically going to settle at the bottom of this tank, and it'll eventually break down. But at the top, so there's actually, this pipe actually comes up to about here. I did put an elbow, so it actually just filters down, and basically 90 to 95% solid free to come into here. And so we're gonna have nothing. So this is all nutrient rich water. We call it nutrient because we don't want to call it poop water. I mean, you can call it poop water if you want, but basically it's very nutrient rich water. It's going to go into here. Now ammonia is fairly toxic. It's not a great thing. Plants really don't love ammonia. They love it when it's broken down into nitrites and nitrates. So that's what this is doing. There's a bunch of bacteria growing in here, and it's called nitrifying bacteria. So those bacteria are eating at the ammonia, and they're eating what they like of the ammonia, and then breaking it down into nitrites and nitrates. From there, we actually pump it to over here to our grow beds, and then they can actually come in. Don't mind the fan, it's like 100 degrees in here. So it comes into here. I just have to finish this little bit here, so that'll take me all of probably 15-20 minutes. So it'll flow into there, and then we use gravity, and we gravity feed back down, and it comes over here and actually overflows down. And actually, because Edward made a mistake, I actually had to plumb this down and around, so it actually goes all the way down. So it was supposed to go like under and straight across, but he built these sump beds too big. So I'll show you what that is. So what's happening is each of these beds has one of these sump tanks, and so when the water comes down and it's finished, it comes in, drains into here. These two are connected, so that far bed actually drains into this one, right into the middle, and then it's connected via PVC pipe here. This is 1.5 inch PVC, and then this one pumps right into here, and then it actually comes from here to our pump, which I just connected last night. That's why it's still a little messy in here. I just connected all this stuff last night. Comes up, comes over and goes right back into the tank. So this is how we were able to utilize up to 95% less water. So really happy that the plumbing's like 99% done. We actually do have the power for that. I just have to actually cut that cord and put a new twist lock on it. And air pump's actually gonna go right here. That black tubing will actually have to be ran in between, but Edward has to do that because he's the only person light enough to be able to go in here without tearing up the vinyl. So he'll do that this next week. Excuse me, I still got dry throat here. So I actually have to put the other set of stairs up over here, so I'll be able to do that this next week. Now that we're actually able to finally start slowing down, because we're only about a day's worth of work, a full day's worth of work from being done. So hopefully by Monday or Tuesday we'll fill it up with water. So here we're at the koi pond. We've had some issues with this pond. It's probably because it hasn't fully cycled. So we've lost a couple koi. You'll see there's one right there. I believe there's 2 or 3 left in here. We did have like 6, so we've lost a few. And this is actually our heirloom tomato bed. So right now we have 2 extra spaces. We have this empty space here, and then we have the empty space down there. So what we're planning on doing is putting one of the heirlooms, the tray of heirlooms here, and then the Roma tomatoes down there. But we're letting them get really big and strong in the germination room first. We'll probably keep them in there for another week, and then they'll get too tall, so then we can bring them out here. But these guys are doing really well. These guys have grown tremendously. I mean, look how tall this is. You're looking at probably a good 7-8 inches. Some of these are like this guy up here. He's getting close to 10 inches. So they're gonna start growing vines soon, which means I have to start putting up the trellis. I haven't done it mainly because of how busy I've been. So I've been focusing on the big projects first. So doing something like this over here, making it look better than that. These guys aren't growing as well. I'm not sure why. It's probably I do know why. It's because of the lights. So these grow lights we attach all the way at the top. These we actually have them on these ratcheting clips, and we brought them lower, and I think that's doing tremendously better for growth. I mean, this was basically an experiment. So this is our first prototype, this is our second prototype, and clearly that works a heck of a lot better than this one. So and I mean, this has a lot more nutrients in it because there's like 6 or 7 koi in here, which they're being shy. They're all back in that corner there. We put some, these aren't really clay pots, they're plastic pots, but we put those in there to give the koi some hiding spaces. The pleco is still in here. I believe he's hanging out in the back. So he was hanging out over here last night. He likes to hang out on this plot, on this pot right here. Looking at getting a pleco for over here, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give it another week because I want to make sure this water cycles. See, there's a koi right there. I also want to get some nice fancy goldfish. We are probably going to get another order of, this time, butterfly koi. Oh, there's the other one. Hanging out in the shallows. So, yeah, I mean, we do have koi in here, just not as many, which is surprising because there's not as many here, but these are growing better. But anyway, once again, these are doing well. Koi aren't doing well in there, but we also had the same issue in here. I'm not sure if maybe some of these koi just came in sick, and they've been dying off slowly but surely. So the next batch that we get, we're definitely going to quarantine them for probably a couple weeks, make sure that they're healthy, make sure we can medicate them, and then introduce them into the pond. And then actually, probably starting in a week or two, I'm actually going to start building the third bed, and then so I can start cycling the water as soon as possible, because then in about 3 or 4 weeks I'll be able to plant in the third koi pond. So We got that going. I'm gonna go back into the air conditioning so we can finish up our little shed here. So here's the aquarium. As you can see, the tannin-rich water. Tannin, if you don't know, is basically the coloring from the wood. So it turns the water reddish. It doesn't hurt the fish. It just tints the water. These koi have been like tearing up the aquarium. I don't know if you can see. They've like eaten every vegetable, every plant except for that one. So they don't like those for some reason. But they've eaten everything else. They've eaten like $100 worth of plants, and it's a little frustrating because they get fed quite a bit. So you can see a koi right there. So they get really skittish. So this guy especially, that little yellow one back there that's hiding, he's super skittish. We have a bunch more back there. So luckily in this tank, not a whole lot's happened. I'm gonna put the camera down here so we can finish our chat. So so with this aquarium, I actually need to do a water change. I want to get some of that tannin out of the water. So I'm going to be doing that probably later this week. It's actually really hot today. Today's going to be the hottest day of the week. It's 78 at 9:30 in the morning. It's supposed to get up to into the 90s. The heat index will be over 100. So I don't like going to work all sweaty. So I'm going to refrain from doing that today. I'll probably do it either tomorrow or Friday. It's supposed to be in the low 70s. So that'll help with clearing up this water a bit. We have not done a water change in this aquarium since I filled it. So it's doing, I mean, this tank's been cycled for a long time. It's doing very well. It's got a big sump in it. The sump is it's definitely a lot bigger than it needs to be, but I want it to be safe. We haven't lost any fish in this aquarium since the first batch of koi that we got, and I think they were sick. But we've got a ton of catfish in here. We've got the albino catfish, we have peppered catfish, and green emerald cories. And then we also have a pleco in here. You will never really see them. I've seen them once in 3 weeks. So we do want to eventually take the koi out of here and put them into the pond. And mainly because they don't seem to do well in the aquariums. They're very skittish. I would have thought by now that they would have been accustomed to us feeding them, but really only one of them is not skittish. Everybody else is skittish. So we're gonna move them out. We're going to end up getting some community fish that are meant for aquariums that aren't gonna get us scared and you can actually see them. But then what's going on with the rest of the build is we're going to finish up the aquarium this week. Unfortunately, Edward took the week off. He had his 10-year wedding anniversary, so he took off and took his wife out as best as he could, you know, with everything basically still shut down everywhere. He wanted to take her to Costa Rica, but that was out of the question because of COVID. So so he took her out locally. So we weren't able to get as much done. I worked my tail off. Unfortunately, there's still a couple little things that need to be done. Technically, we could have it filled up tomorrow and it wouldn't really be a problem. Is Edward could probably still figure out how to run that air hose if we had to. However, we will just wait till probably Monday or Tuesday to fill up the water. We're gonna have a big tanker in here. We're gonna get about 6,500 gallons of water, and we'll fill up as much. The pool is probably only gonna get filled up halfway. It's mainly because we don't want to put too much water for that much fish. Those fish are only like, you know, an inch and a half big, so we don't want to overwhelm them with them. We want to be able to keep track of them, see them a little bit better. So so hopefully by next week the system will be up. We're not going to put anything in. We might move some of the lettuce over there because that won't really hurt. But we're not going to really do much in terms of, we're not going to move the fish in there just yet either. We do want to make sure that the system is fully cycled before we introduce the trout, because they are very sensitive. They're a lot more sensitive than the koi. So if they're in water that's not safe, they will die. So we want to make sure that we cycle the system, and we got a lot going on because the 8th and the 9th we have our USDA inspection. So, you know, and we're still not fully running. And our system will be running by the time they get here, but it won't be fully operational because the fish will still not be. I don't believe we'll have the fish in there by the 8th. Who knows? We'll see. I I will not be able to tape the inspection. I don't want to do that. I feel like that's kind of rude. That's plus, I mean, God knows what's going to happen. It's an hour and a half long tour. We have a 3-hour virtual conference the day before, and then we have an hour and a half tour here. I don't think it'll take an hour and a half, but they're going to go through everything. So we're trying to button up everything this week and next week. Yeah, that's basically what's going on. You know, our website's been running really well. We're still working on the subscription service. We actually have a bunch of boxes here. I don't know if you guys can see. There's a bunch of boxes here. This was from a potential vendor. And so we're trying to figure out cost and things like that. So we're gonna choose a couple of these boxes to use for the subscription service. We just haven't figured out which ones based on the price, and then our logo will get printed on that, and then we'll be able to start shipping out probably in October, probably more like mid to late October, to be very honest with you guys. But we'll probably start doing a pre-sale in early October, because then by then we should know, at least actually probably by the end of September, we'll know how many vegetables we're going to have. Maybe as early as early October. And then we'll be able to figure out how much we can sell a week. We're going to have limits, so it's going to be like the first so many people can order, because it's while supplies last. So we're not going to be able to do 1,000 people every week. So we have to do it in moderation while we're scale up. So I mean, we don't have the funds to right now to build out as much as we want. So I mean, we want to actually put in 2 more rows, 50-foot rows of grow beds, but we just don't have the money. I mean, we're talking about another $10,000 that we don't have. So which brings us to our next point. So if you guys are interested in helping us out, we do have a couple, you can go on our website and donate, I think as small as $25. We're also, if you're interested in becoming an investor, we do both debt and equity. So debt means we do a loan. We do something reasonable. We do anywhere between 5 and 10% interest. It could be as short as 1 year. It could be as long as 5 years. It kind of really depends on the amount. So if you're interested, or you could do an equity, which means you actually own a small piece of the business. However, we only want to do equity for those larger amounts. We're talking, $50,000 or $25,000 and more. Really it would be for like $50,000 to $100,000, like $50,000, $100,000 investments. We would probably be interested in working on an equity for that. Basically we're expecting to ramp up pretty quickly once we're fully up and running, and we've got vegetables going. I have a feeling we're going to be insanely crazy for the first 6 months, but in the meantime, I mean, we just don't have the funds. I mean, we do have the funds. We want to make sure that we have enough to get through November, because we're not going to be getting any income till at least October. So we need to make sure that we can pay our bills till then. We're trying to be responsible, and so Edward and I are still paying out of pocket quite a bit. But between the two of us, we don't have $10,000 to spare. We've already put in probably $20,000, $30,000 of our own money. So yeah, if you're interested, please let me know. If you know people that are interested, send them to our website. You can have them message me through YouTube, through the website, through Facebook, through Instagram. We're on all those. Preferably it would be best through email, which is fresh@valoraquaponics.com. It's actually right here. And you'll actually be able to reach me directly. I try to respond to everybody within 24 hours. Sometimes it is 48 to 72 hours. Depending on how many emails I get. Some days I get plastered with 60 emails, and it just takes a lot of time, especially when I'm working the full-time job. It gets really hard. So that's kind of where we're at. We appreciate you guys coming out, watching this channel. Lots going on. My head is just spinning with all the stuff that we have to finish up with, so that's why I'm kind of all jumbled right now. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting because we're really close to being fully up and running. It's also nerve-wracking because we're kind of running low on funds, and so we have enough to get through November. But we still have some vegetables that we haven't even planted yet, just because of how far behind we are. Because realistically, we're at least a month. For me personally, we're 2 months behind on our build, and that's mainly because there were a lot of extenuating circumstances dealing with the contractors with COVID, things like that. So it's really hurt us financially. I think we've lost like $20,000 in the process, just sitting around and things like that. So paying more for supplies, everything's gone up in price. So any help that you guys can give, we greatly appreciate it. Once again, if you or you know somebody that's interested in possibly investing in with us or helping us out, please have them email me, have them message us, and let us know. If you guys are interested in the subscription service. Once again, it's a tongue twister for me. If you guys are interested in the subscription service coming up in October, let me know if what vegetables you're interested in, because then I'll have to start planting those. So right now we're looking at probably Roma tomatoes, vine tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, lettuce, basil, and arugula, maybe a little bit of cilantro. Aside from that, we don't really have anything else growing at the moment. We do plan on doing tomatillos, a couple more herbs, maybe some parsley that does really well. Other than that, we're not really sure. Maybe some bell peppers. I don't know. You guys let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let us know via email. We always appreciate your feedback. So I hope you guys are having a great day. For everybody that's dealing with the hot weather, I hope you're staying cool. For everybody that's in the path of the hurricane, please stay safe. Follow your local officials. Stay safe, and remember to always just help one another. I think that's the best thing that we can always do in these hard times, is to rely on one another, trust in one another, love each other. I think that goes a long way, especially here in Wisconsin. There's been a lot of unrest lately, if you've watched or read the news. So I think we just need to learn to take a deep breath, let cooler heads prevail, and go back to just loving thy neighbor. I think it goes a long way when we're able to just take a step back, take a deep breath, and just talk. And when I say talk, I don't mean screaming at each other. I mean just having a wholehearted conversation. I think we've forgotten how to do that. So I hope all of you guys are staying safe. I hope all of you guys are staying healthy. I hope you guys are all doing great. If there's ever anything that I can do to help make your lives better, please let me know. Otherwise, remember to be the change that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you guys next time.